So reading question 4.23, they give us this reaction, silver nitrate, this precipitation reaction, silver nitrate mixed with sodium chloride. We're going to precipitate solid silver chloride, and then we're left with the sodium nitrate in solution. They tell us that we add 0.91 grams of silver nitrate in solution, and they want to know the grams of silver chloride that's going to be made in this reaction. And they tell you that their sodium chloride is in excess. So because we know sodium chloride is in excess, we don't need to know how many moles, just so we know that there's enough moles in that reaction. So what we need to do is find moles of silver nitrate, because the balanced equation tells us for every 1 mole of silver nitrate, I'm going to make 1 mole of silver chloride. So we're going to go from grams of silver nitrate, right, to map it out. We can convert that to moles of silver nitrate. Once we're in moles of silver nitrate, we use the mole ratio. We can find moles of silver chloride. And then once we know moles of silver chloride, we can find the mass of silver chloride. So we're going to start there with the mass of silver nitrate. All right. So we're looking at 3 steps. Silver nitrate, got 0.91 grams of silver nitrate. And we go and look up the molar mass, right? The molar mass is 169.87 grams for 1 mole of silver nitrate. All right, 0.91 divided by 169.87. I get like 5.357 times 10 to the minus 3 moles of silver nitrate. All right, now I want to use the mole ratio to say how many moles of silver chloride will I make. And this is kind of we're just going to practice this step. To practice it, we don't really need to do it for the math, because the math is pretty straightforward, right? We know, okay, silver nitrate, right? The mole ratio tells us 1 mole in, 1 mole out, right? So we don't need the calculator for that step. Okay, silver nitrate cancels out. We're left with silver chloride, and how much, right? The same amount, 5.357, 10 to the minus 3 moles of silver chloride. From there, we can find the mass, because we know the molar mass of silver chloride is 143.32 grams per mole. So that's our last step, right? 5.357 times 10 to the minus 3 moles, right? We know for 1 mole of silver chloride, I have to have 143.32 grams. So moles cancel out. We multiply by 143.32, and my mass that I'm going to make at the end of this, 2 significant figures, right? So we started with 2 significant figures, and 0.91 grams is like 0.77 grams of silver chloride. So again, like a lot of these problems, we can't go mass to mass. I can't go from mass of silver nitrate to mass of silver chloride. I have to go through moles. So we convert mass to moles using the molar mass. Then I use the mole ratio to go from moles of silver nitrate to moles of silver chloride, right? So 1-to-1 ratio there. And then once I know moles of the silver chloride, now I can bring in the molar mass of the silver chloride to tell me, the mass of silver chloride I would expect to make in this reaction.